Peace, this is King Noble Black Supremacy. I want to call this particular video Black Nationalism and White Sex. I want to just do a breakdown on it. I want to show some distinctions and some importances. First of all, what we call white sex is any type of sexuality that black people in America is practicing, period. Because if we don't make the rules, the laws, and the regulations, and we have not created the customs, then the type of culture that we're acting out is one that has been given to us by our oppressor. It's one that has been given to us by our slave master. Because we are not the authors of our societies, we are not making up the rules. We've been given a book by our enemy called the Bible, and we go by his book. We go by their cultural paradigm, their customs, what they market. So anything that we practice in America as black people is white sex, not just homosexuality, not pedophilia, and the list goes on of whatever people want to put within the category of white sex. Everything we're doing is white sex because we didn't make it up. The definition of what black sex would be is a sex that we consciously chose to create, that we chose to manifest, a cultural paradigm that we created. And if we didn't make it up and it was given to us by somebody else and we uphold in somebody else's paradigm, or we don't have the authority to enforce our own cultural paradigm because we live in the midst of the enemy who is running and regulating things, we are practicing white sex. Black sex would have to mean freedom for blacks. If your sex is not leading you towards freedom in America as a black man, if your sex is not an expression of freedom, then it's white sex, no matter what it is. That's the reality. That's going to shock some people. If your white man is telling you how to have sex, who to have sex with, and the one who has made all the legislations and the rules up, who's going to enforce sexuality and sexual policy, if your enemy is doing that for you, no matter what type of sex that it is, it's white sex. That's a fact. We are practicing white sex in America. The white man say, hey, you can't marry more than one woman. That's white sex. Because the white man is telling you what you can and cannot do, and making laws and regulations for your nation, for your people. You didn't make those laws up. The white man telling you how old you can marry a woman. What age is lawful. You got to go to him and get permission to be married. You are practicing white sex in America as a black man. Not because heterosexuality is not black sex. Neither is homosexuality black sex. Black sex is a cultural paradigm that's created by black people, that is enforced by black people, that is produced by black people. That would have to be black sex. But your master got the whip on your goddamn back. You can't raise your voice at your woman. And the white man's at your goddamn door, letting you know that I'm going to tell you the proper way to practice white sex with your woman. If you don't, you're a sex offender. It's domestic violence. It's a domestic situation, and I'm taking your ass to jail and keeping you in there for 30 or 40 days. That's white sex that you practicing, Negro. You think that's your woman and that you having black sex with your woman? As long as you are a Negro under the institutions of white supremacy in America, you are practicing white sex. And until that system is overthrown and you get it off your monkey ass, you will be practicing white sex. So while you looking at the so-called pedophile and a so-called homosexual, these are white man's definitions and in white man's books. There's no African words for some of this shit that y'all got. There's no tribal language for some of these fucking words that y'all got. But while you look into that as white sex, you are a white sex fucking slave in America. Because if you don't conform to his normalities and his rules and his regulations and how you're supposed to have sex and what you are supposed to do, then you go back on that slave ship immediately to that prison industrial complex. So don't get this confused. Black sex is free sex, is that which is authored and created and developed by a black mind and by a black consciousness without being under the threat and the coercion of the white man, of white supremacy, of his oppressor, to act and do and be in a certain way, to fit in and to eat and to get a job and be accepted by society. So look at your terminology. There won't be no black sex until there's true black nationalism, until there's a black revolution and we overthrow white supremacy. Until then, all you Negroes are having fucking white sex. And some people that you call homosexuals and that you call pedophiles, that you call whatever, statutory rapists or whatever you want to call them, some of them might be freer than you in America because they're going against the regulations of what the white man and how the white man is telling them. Because a law don't mean nothing until it's enforced. So you can have all your opinions about whatever you want and feel your way, but it's about who's going to enforce the law that is in power. Who's going to enforce it and what system is going to enforce that law? And it's going to be the system of white supremacy that enforce the laws. So if they the ones that enforce the law, then they the ones are in power. And they the ones make the definition, put the definition on sexuality. And if they create the definition of what sexuality is in America and it's created by a white mind and enforced by a white dominated judicial system, then at the very end, you are limited to fucking white sex. It's King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com.